look at those people in the face. You are their representative and you better represent them.
Well, and the other thing, because, you know, I was an auditor before, so going out to all these meetings and working with property values and everything, you know how many people become so angry?
They do.
With levies and property values. So some of these, you know, the fire issue in Richfield Township.
Absolutely.
So
It's gonna be the same in Montclair.
exactly, with the growth too, but that's what your trustees are facing. Either the citizens are gonna say, we're either not gonna grow anymore and not add more population, not add more streets.
Right.
Or we're gonna understand the more people we bring in, the more demand on services
And
are.
you're either gonna have to
And
go
pay
one way
more
or another.
Or another, and that's really what a lot, for
We're
all the
facing
years,
that.
I've been working
Just
with
so you know.
township trustees. Maybe Monclova, maybe Waterville City carries over money. A majority of your smaller township
Do not.
trustees,
Y'all
they're
broke.
barely getting by.
Okay, as far as
So, but I just wanna let you know, it's growth or,
Right, you pay.
And that's a false dichotomy,
They
though, of
said they
saying,
had 3 million, didn't they?
What?
Their last
No,
meeting?
not for
well, like,
Richfield,
well, for
is it?
each township's different.
Right.
So if you're, Richfield, I'm talking about
For
Richfield.
Richfield.
I have a question.
Yeah.
One of the Montclair Township trustees told me that, well, in Oregon, they gave the schools $3 million and that's gonna lower the property taxes. What's the ratio?
That's up to the
I
decision.
mean, realistically, also you're talking 20, 30-year tax abatements on a asset that may only be active for 11 and a half years.
Can I answer that question? That's a really good question. There's also, I think, just a misconception, just a misunderstanding of the facts and how they work. So what many jurisdictions have done is they give, technically on books, a property tax abatement. But what happens is the property auditor, no longer the auditor, but former auditor, sets the valuation of that property, which these have high valuations because they're very expensive buildings, right? Now you have that as a backstop, which protects all of our communities, because if you don't live up to your agreements with us, you gotta pay that big bill. So now I set that big bill. Then what we do is we come in, again, we haven't done this, but if you're gonna negotiate a deal like this, you come in like this would happen in Wood County, or another, what Oregon is working on right now, it's not signed yet, is they are working on what's called a payment in lieu of taxes agreement. That means they are paying taxes. I wanna be clear about it. It's payment in lieu of taxes, but they are paying. Payment's the key word there. They are paying, and they pay that dollar amount. And what it does is it allows you to redistribute those property tax dollars into more localized support, so it gives more money directly to the local. So if you look at Richfield, for instance, right? If you look at their property tax duplicate, when you pay your property tax, like everyone thinks these guys make all this money and she makes all this money. They don't. The schools, Evergreen Schools,
Largest
makes the largest portion of that, right? Which is good. I mean, schools are good.
Right, but it
And
goes by
then
the state.
about 20 to 25% of that goes to all of the other things in our community,
Right.
libraries, metro parks,
gets paid as
CSB, all those things, which are important things. And then usually somewhere between around, depends on the township, 6 to 10 to 15% goes to the local jurisdiction. And it's usually divided and specified. Some
Smallest.
goes to the roads, some goes to the fire department, some goes to general fund.
Right.
So when you do a payment in lieu of taxes, I'm sorry, it's a very long explanation, is when you do that, I can take that and let's just say it's a $10 million a year payment, which is what
Oregon.
they are, Oregon is negotiating, $10 million for 30 years, right? $10 million set aside there, and they redistribute that so that, my understanding of what they're doing is roughly, although they're negotiating this day in and day out, so it could be different tomorrow, so don't hold me to this, but $3 million goes to the school district, so they're making sure they're taking care of their schools, which is still an amazing amount. But then a larger amount, $5-6 million, comes to your local jurisdiction, allows better services there, which allows them to reduce taxes. And so that's the benefit, and that's more localized as they do that. So now it brings more tax dollars to local. So a local decision makes it, and a local decision benefits. So they take the tough vote, but then they're taking a tough vote to keep more dollars for you.
So
But this
if
is
our
again-
property tax, they don't change the valuation of the house, even though those of us in Waterside will probably not be able to sell our house if they build that thing, which means it's worth nothing.
I think the answer, so
I went to New Albany and we spoke to 2 homeowners, and the one adjacent to it, their property values by the auditor have not gone down.
Right.
So it, again, she moved in, the newer couple moved in within, they've been there 3 years when it was still just being built, and Brent was with me. Then the gentleman, the elderly gentleman across the street, what they did complain about was all the construction traffic. And that has overwhelmed being so close to it. But their property value did not go down. So now she thinks she's gonna rent her property out the gentleman across the street was like, I'm hoping they come on over and buy me out, because now I know what to negotiate for. But we didn't have enough time to talk to more citizens, cause we ran out of time. And so each person's gonna tell you a different perspective, just
Right, well,
Anecdotal
it's
data
already
isn't
done.
really hold up.
We've
Statistical
done.
data shows when you build solar panels, when you build wind turbines, when you build data centers, you lose your property value. End
well,
of
what you
story.
sell it for, yes.
I have another.
Right.
Well,
Look
right,
at-
I wanna sell it for the most money.
Right,
I can get,
exactly.
And if the most money I can get is gonna be 200,000 less than what it's valued at, that's not fair. But I have a fun fact. Did you know that Toledo Public has right out, my house that I live in, that I built, if I had school-age children, they go to Toledo Public Schools. Not Sylvania, they jumped over because of Spencer Reed closed. Toledo had the deepest pockets, not Sylvania, not Swanton, not Springfield, not Evergreen, Toledo. So my house and this little red area here, right out here in the middle of, that's Toledo Public. So if this data center comes in, who's getting it? Who gets that money? Does Toledo Public get it? Does Swanton get it? Does the what school system?
It'll be the school district that is in the current area, so I can tell you there is no area that's in Toledo Public Schools right now that is in Spencer Township that is well positioned for a data center. It is schools that are in
Toledo Public
Swanton.
right there, that red, it actually, and they actually, you said your house, you're on.
I know exactly where it is.
So,
Yeah.
the north of Bancroft and from Chrissy to Irwin, that's all Sylvania School. Where all the rest of it, this little corner here, that's Sylvania, all the rest of that's Toledo Public. So obviously Sylvania was able to annex out, cause this map shows it goes all the way to Chrissy. But when you look on the auditor site, when I go to Aries and I look on Aries, it goes all the way to Irwin, all of those houses north of, on Bancroft on this side, here's Bancroft, this side is Sylvania, this side is Toledo. How did that happen? Like, who made that change?
That was
Well,
a
that-
negotiation a long time
Yeah,
ago.
many years ago, and a lot of,
50
and that was an area, that's a
50.
long,
There's a
lot of
great
history
story
there.
about that.
Yeah, because they got.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not wanna know the truth about it.
There's actually, there's a great book written about